Hi, good afternoon. This is JP Collins, and whether I liked it or not, my feed went live. I wasn't quite ready, but I am now. So, live from San Francisco, California. This is JP Collins with Book of Hours, and today the podcast is called Stick. About a little over 2 weeks ago, I did a podcast called Carrot, where I talked about global warming and how the politicians and leaders in the United States and probably worldwide really do not they don't do much about the actual issue of global warming, and in fact that they use it as a means of keeping us voting for them, basically, right? So that was basic premise of that, and I had been thinking about it. The other night, last night I guess, I was watching a Truthstream video, and I'll provide the link to that. And it was basically about geoengineering and chemtrails and how we're all being used as guinea pigs for this. And I'd been thinking about geoengineering for a while, but watching that video reminded me that I had purposely left out a piece in a portion of my video. Let's see, that Julie's texting me, where I was going to talk about geoengineering and how it related to global warming. And let's put it. Let me think about this. It's been, I don't know. I've known about geoengineering for about, I want to say 12 years, something like that, give or take. And the first time I encountered it was when I was I was a part of the sort of the green business movement in the early 2000s, mid to early 2000s, and I had a small business myself, and I worked with green building companies, and I had other clients in that space, and I went to a lot of mixers to meet other like-minded types of business people, and at one of the mixers I came across somebody, and I was okay. So and they were a startup, and their whole thing was geoengineering, and I was like, well, what is that? And they told me, and I have to say, I was completely appalled. I didn't let it on, but I was. It scared the fuck out of me. The idea that they were going to mess with the environment, mess with the atmosphere by suspending particles in the air to reflect sunlight, really scared me, because it just didn't sound right, especially in the name of something like global warming, where we actually had, at that time especially, we still had time to really address the issue through our own behavior and through our own practices. But because people can't agree, but also moreover, because politicians don't want to do anything about it, we've come to this point now to where global warming has become a very dire situation, to the point where there's predictions of 9 to 10 years of life on Earth, which I still can't accept myself, even though I did a podcast on it. So I heard about geoengineering, and I've had it tucked away in my brain for the last since I first heard about it, and like I said, it scared me, and I didn't really think that it was going to be viable, that people were actually going to follow through and do that. And about 4 or 5 years ago, I met some people that started telling me about chemtrails, and I was like, well, what is that? I don't know what you mean. I mean, given what I know about them now, we've never really had them here in San Francisco. They don't either they don't test here, they don't do it here. The chemtrails don't show up. It's too windy. I don't know. What I do see are jets going to the airport and dumping fuel before they land, but I don't see purposeful, deliberate trails in the sky in the form of like grids and weird formations and patterns that had been reported to me. And I've kind of at first I was like, well, it's probably just jet fuel, or it's probably just whatever. And but more and more, I'd been hearing more about it and realizing that it is actually a purposeful, deliberate kind of deliverance or delivery of aerosol particles in the sky. And I hadn't really put it together with geoengineering until pretty recently, because it just never really, it never was part of my world. I never saw it, but again, people that I know did, and were talking about it. So then, this video last night that I watched by Truthstream combined the two and said, there's a reason that this is happening, and we're basically being tested on. We're being guinea pigs. We're guinea pigs, basically, and this is being done to us, which brought up the thought that I had when I first started thinking about doing my carrot video, and then that is that basically, I said that politicians they're not doing anything about global warming because they use it as an issue, okay, to get our attention and to make us upset and scared and to vote for them. They use it, basically to keep you voting. But the other thing is that they don't care. They ultimately really don't. I mean, the people who say they care really haven't done much about it. But then, something else that occurred to me, I don't know, maybe 3-4 months ago, is that all this talk about geoengineering suddenly led me to the conclusion that they're doing it. They're not doing anything about global warming because they want to pursue geoengineering. Which sounds really outlandish, right? But it doesn't seem to. I can't seem to draw any other conclusion. Why they wouldn't be doing this. And who knows what the motivations are? I mean, ultimately, it's about money. It's about control. There's a lot of people talking about how the leadership, the 1% and the deep state. Really wants to take us back to a period of our past of, lords and serfs, right? So you have serfdom, they've been using the word slaves, but, serfs, that works too. You basically live on the land that belongs to the rich overlord, and you do the work, and you get paid a pittance, and, it's basically slave labor. Without any sort of representation. So there's a lot of people that have been talking about how our political leaders really and our the wealthy really want to take us back to that. And that's kind of fits in with what I was talking about, how the leadership doesn't really care about global warming. They don't care about us. I mean, let's look at Flint, for example, Flint, Michigan. What's been going on there for the last 3 years is just an absolute shit show, and I have a feeling that it's going to be, that what we're going to see in the future is nothing. That's just the test run, right? And that there's a bunch of other things that they're doing out there, and they have been testing us in the past, using us as guinea pigs in the past. Here in San Francisco. Aerosol bioweapons were used in the I guess the 50s or 60s, where pathogens were released in aerosol by means of airplane. People got sick, and a couple of people died. At least one person. That was in the video. But I do know, from before that video, that they tested LSD in the BART stations, and And there's been a lot of unexplained, cancer here in San Francisco, and it just, I know this used to be an industrial city, but honestly, the kinds of things that the kinds of cancers that have been showing up, just don't point to that. So, the government has been using its people, the U.S. government has been using its people as guinea pigs, so why not now? I mean, they basically, apparently, in a New York Times magazine article recently, and it's called Is It Okay to Tinker with the Environment to Fight Climate Change? And they basically come to the conclusion that yes, it is, and it's fine for us to be guinea pigs to be used, and that the chemtrails actually are part of the geo-engineering experiments that are taking place. So my conclusion then is that, well, we're letting global warming happen so that we can actually follow through with geoengineering and see how much we can control the weather. Okay, so it's a broader idea, broader context of controlling people, populations, weather, environment, species around the world. There's a lot of in the article. It's very long. There's a lot of talk about like what could go wrong, and there is a lot that could go wrong. So it's not just a once and done thing. In fact, they're going to continue doing it for a long time. So I've kind of run through all my points. So my main point is that with Carrot, that all the people who are in the leadership, especially in the green movements, have been saying they've been talking the talk, but they haven't been walking the walk. They haven't been doing anything about global warming, really. And I called out people like Al Gore and Obama and Bill Kibben and McKibben, and pointing out that they're really not doing a lot out there, including the people like or organizations like Greenpeace and Rainforest Action Network and organizations like that. They're doing nothing. They're basically collecting your money and keeping you upset and excited and angry and focusing on Trump instead of what's actually going on. So. My thesis and my conclusion, I guess, of Carrot was basically that. So in this case, Stick, they're basically going to use global warming as a means to allow them to conduct geoengineering, and they're using us as guinea pigs to test it out to make sure that it actually works. So that's the stick, right? They're basically going to use us, and they're not going to ask our permission. They're just going to go do it. So it's and it's not the classic carrot and stick situation. It's more like carrot to keep you occupied, and stick to keep you down. So that's basically it. I'd like you to remember that you have power, that you should stop paying attention to all this distraction with Donald Trump. Yes, he is a terrible politician and a lousy leader, but the leadership in the Congress and the leadership in the judiciary and in the White House, the DNC and the RNC, all of these people, they have it in for you. So it's time to stop reacting and stop what is it they want you to do? Well, what I want you to do is revolt. Okay, so stop resisting. That's it. Stop resisting. Start revolting, and see what you can do. Get yourself educated. Get yourself informed, and and like I said in Carrot, it doesn't matter why global warming has happened. All the things that we've been doing to this planet still count. Okay, they still hurt us physically and in our health and our environment and the creatures that are around us. So it doesn't matter whether global warming is man-made or not. Cars, pollutants, factories, plastics, all that stuff is harmful to us. So it's time to stop doing that, and it's time to start thinking about where we live and how we treat the place we live. This is J.P. Collins at Book of Hours in San Francisco. This is Friday, so I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you next time. Trolls will be ignored. Thank you.